A new law going into effect could mean more parking tickets. Details coming up on how close we can park to an intersection or a crosswalk.
If you're going out to celebrate this New Year's Eve, public transit is an option. Starting tomorrow at 6 p.m., all rides are free.
Honoring the late President Jimmy Carter.
I'm just proud to say that I have met Mr. Carter, President Carter, and just again, thank you for his continued service.
We hear from a San Diego man about how the former president changed his life.
Tens of thousands of tires, part of the pollution problem at the border. Where are these tires even coming from?
Reeling in students with a love for learning and fishing. We honor Mr. Stanley, this month's classroom hero.
CBS 8 News live at 6 starts right now.
We begin tonight with a reminder about a new law that takes effect in 2 days. It will make it illegal to park within 20 feet of a street corner. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
And I'm Anna Laurel, and tonight for Marcella Lee. The goal of the new law is to increase visibility and safety for drivers and pedestrians. CBS 8's Brian White shows us what we need to know so we don't get a ticket.
It's time to break old habits. Starting this Wednesday, we're no longer allowed to park right next to an intersection or a crosswalk, or you could get a ticket.
Too many people park on curbs, and it creates a blind spot when people are trying to go around them. So I'm surprised there's not more accidents. So I'm happy they're doing it.
It's called daylighting and meant to open up intersections and eliminate blind spots, making it easier for drivers to see pedestrians and bikers and other cars.
Yeah, I mean, just the way people drive around here so fast, it's nice that people had time to look and not get caught around cars. So I think it's a great thing.
To prepare for the new law, AB 413, the city of San Diego is painting more curbs red near corners, and they're removing about 100 parking spaces. You can see where lines have been stripped and parking meters removed. Some people I talked with in Claremont welcome the idea, say cars parked on the corner can create visibility issues.
Hard to see. People don't make complete stops anymore these days. So hopefully this will help in that regards and save a life or two.
Especially in the evenings, because these neighborhoods are well lit at all. So it gives people the opportunity for the pedestrian to see and the cars to see people.
The new law does allow cities to create motorcycle parking within the 20-foot buffer zone, and San Diego has done that in some spots. But this is not just a city issue. The 20-foot no parking zone at crosswalks and intersections is a statewide law starting January 1st, and it applies whether the curb is painted red or not.
Well, I didn't know that was coming, but I don't have a big issue with it unless you're in an area where there's really tight parking. And then for some residents, I can see why that may be inconvenient.
Richard Hart lives in Claremont, where there's plenty of parking on his street. He's a little skeptical that the new law is necessary.
Do you think it'll help at all with visibility?
If that's the purpose, I get how that would be advantageous to make turns and see what's coming around, and maybe for emergency vehicles as well. But it's at the cost of inconveniencing people daily to try to park.
The city of San Diego will be giving warnings for the first 60 days, and after that, fines are projected to run $77.50. In Claremont, Brian White, CBS 8.
All right, Brian, thank you. A few changes for California landlords and tenants are also coming next year. One new assembly bill aims to help renters build a good credit score.
Miss my credit card payment, $25 1 month inadvertently, I get dinged for it. I pay my rent on time for 5-6 years, nothing happens.
Well, that changes under AB 2747. Starting in April of 2025, if you rent from someone who owns more than 15 apartments, they have to offer to report your on-time rent payments to credit agencies. AB 2801 will require landlords to provide photographic evidence for any deductions made from a tenant's security deposit if they claim damages beyond normal wear and tear.
Also in the new year, you will need a real ID to fly domestically, unless you have a passport. The deadline to get one is May 7th. You can apply for your Real ID driver's license or ID card through the DMV. Real IDs are marked with a star on the top of the card. They will also be needed to access certain federal facilities. Congress mandated the Real IDs in 2005 on the recommendation of the 9/11 Commission. The deadline has been pushed back several times. The TSA will begin enforcement in phases, starting with written warnings for those who do not comply. And before all of that takes effect, though, people will be celebrating tomorrow to ring in the new year, and local law enforcement is reminding revelers to do so safely.
CBS 8's Kelly Hezedal has more on free public transit rides that are available, as well as some sobering statistics on DUI-related crashes on holidays like this.
Local law enforcement is really encouraging people to take public transit or to take a Lyft or an Uber or a taxi. According to Caltrans, the chances you could be involved in a DUI-related crash tomorrow are much higher compared to the rest of the year.
You may think you're okay to drive after one drink, but you are not.
Karen Jewell of Caltrans warning San Diegans about the dangers of drinking and driving.
About 14% of all fatal crashes throughout the year involve at least one driver who is under the influence of alcohol. During the overnight period on New Year's Eve, that rate spikes to 42%.
She says last year in San Diego County, 32 people died in alcohol-related crashes.
Those numbers are representative of our community members, our family members, our co-workers and colleagues who have been impacted by driving under the influence-related incidents.
Tomorrow evening, the CHP will be out operating its maximum enforcement period, looking for impaired drivers on the roads. It urges people to have a designated driver or to take public transit. After 6 p.m., MTS and the North County Transit District is offering free rides on all trolley lines, coaster, sprinter, and nearly all bus routes. The goal is to really give people every option possible to get home safely. And you will see a lot of law enforcement out tomorrow. Now, the San Diego County Sheriff's Department says it made nearly 1,000 DUI-related arrests this past year. It says besides the safety risk, you should also consider the financial cost of a DUI. It says that it can cost more than $15,000 in legal and court fees alone. Kelly Hessedal, CBS 8.
Thank you, Kelly. Right now, the State Route 54 connector to the southbound Interstate 805 is closed after a brush fire that broke out under the bridge. We brought it to you as breaking news at 4 and 5. We're told the fire started a little before 5, but it's now out. The National City Fire Department says it started in an encampment under the overpass. CHP says the overpass will reopen once Caltrans has checked its structural integrity. A man accused of sexually assaulting a 5-year-old girl at her Linda Vista home pleaded not guilty during a court appearance today.
Authorities say Alejandro Confessor got into the home through an open garage back in April. 3 days later, he was seen on surveillance video returning to the same home. Confessor is charged with 5 counts, including forcible lewd act on a child. A trial date is set for February 18th. He faces 25 years to life in prison if convicted.
Americans all around the country are paying tribute to former president and humanitarian Jimmy Carter. His legacy of community service extends here to San Diego. Both Mr. Carter and his wife, Rosalind, were active supporters of Habitat for Humanity. That's a nonprofit dedicated to providing affordable home ownership.
CBS 8's Richard Allen is here with more on the impact that Jimmy Carter had here locally and around the world.
Well, that's right, a global impact that you can see right here in our neighborhoods here in San Diego. In fact, President Carter and his wife Rosalind worked with Habitat for Humanity for 4 decades. Now, in 1990, they paid a special visit to San Diego as part of a cross-border partnership to help build homes for over 100 families in San Diego and in Tijuana.
You think about the fact that you have an ex-president and an ex-first lady who came to San Diego, came to Tijuana, and really tried to get the local community activated to help solve a problem. We think that's a real good example of really what his legacy is and what we want to keep doing here at San Diego Habitat. We're so proud to be part of it.
All right, and well into their 90s, Mr. and Mrs. Carter donated their time, influence, and passion for helping others by volunteering for Habitat for Humanity. Over 40-plus years, the couple worked with more than 100,000 volunteers in 14 countries to help build and renovate more than 4,300 homes. Now, as we mentioned, some of those homes are right here in our own communities. San Diegan Al Laharde is a Habitat for Humanity volunteer and partner who was able to secure his own home in Escondido through Habitat for Humanity. Now, he and his young family moved into their home back in 2015, and then 3 years later in 2018, through his work with Habitat, Al was actually able to meet President Carter as part of a larger group in person at Mr. Carter's boyhood home in Plains, Georgia, where he had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to express his gratitude.
A great experience to see him, to be able to tell him thank you, and then just to see that type of leader be able to connect still at his age with people that admire him and want to continue to support the efforts that he wants to support, like building homes for families like mine.
And we'll have much more on that special visit coming up on CBS 8 News at 11 p.m. But just what a legacy. And every time he talks about Habitat for Humanity, he also talks about his very strong faith in Christianity.
Yeah, he taught Sunday school for decades.
Yeah, so all about giving back. And I mean, they're describing him not just as a leader, but what they're calling a servant leader. Not just leading us, but also leading by example with community service.
Yeah, he said the acts that he did after becoming president, much later, once he had left office, those were the things that meant the most to him.
And I think those are the things that we remember him most for right now.
Yeah.
And thanks for correcting me. I said Rosalind. It's Rosalind.
I believe it is Rosalind, yeah. But I would assume
Rosalind.
Rosalind, but it is, I believe it is Rosalind.
It is, and I'm glad to get that right.
All right.
Very
Thank
important.
you.
Thanks, Richard.
Well, thousands of Scripps Health patients with health insurance through Anthem Blue Cross may be forced to find a new doctor starting Wednesday. The deadline is looming for contract negotiations between the two. Their contract ends tomorrow, and if they fail to come to terms by then, Scripps hospitals and doctors could exit Anthem's medical provider network. That means thousands of patients could lose coverage and be forced to pay out-of-network rates or find another healthcare provider altogether. Patients are urged to be prepared in case a deal is not reached in time. One resource is National Senior Benefit Advisors. That's a San Diego-based agency that can help seniors navigate such a change free of charge.
Taking a look back at this year's top headlines in politics, that's still ahead.
Plus, the warning from the CDC about a rise in norovirus cases.
And the new California rule state leaders hope will entice insurance companies to write more homeowner policies in the Golden State.
Yeah, looking at temperatures across the county, we touched the low 70s in the inland microclimates, but as we get into the new year, we could touch the low 80s. I'm meteorologist Sean Stouts with your microclimate forecast.